Well, it is May officially now. It's actually May 2nd. So I know some of you always expect like the Q&A or whatever to be on the first, but I've had a lot of shit going on, and I've been like having like really bad allergies. I thought it was actually like I thought I had strep throat or something, but I guess I just have like really bad allergies. Like I said, I don't know. Anyway, let me fix the camera real quick. I think it's too low. Too low. Okay. So anyway, I got a lot of questions, as I always do. I think I'm at like 59 right now, 59 questions. So I'm going to try and get through all of them. I might skip some, I might not. I mean, some of you left me like 8 questions. But anyway, that's pretty much it. So let's go. First question is from Nathan. He says, what are my thoughts on the Mark Hoppus tweets? You kind of leaving me trying to figure out what you're actually asking. I'm assuming you mean the tweets about how he's starting, or not starting, but he's already working on a new project with, I think it was like Chris Holmes or whatever his name is, and that Tom was pretty much the main reason why Blink wasn't going anywhere at the moment. And like I said, in like an older status, I'm not surprised, but at the same time, you know, it's not something you can just rush anyway. I'm fine with having new music from any of the guys. I mean, maybe not so much Travis because he likes being with rappers and shit that I don't like. But, I mean, I'm pretty excited for the new Angels and Airwaves album since, you know, it's more going on than just Tom writing stuff. And, you know, I think Mark Hoppus is going to have some cool stuff going on with that other guy too, as long as, you know, it's original stuff. So, if that's what you meant by my thoughts on Mark Hoppus tweets, then that's great. If you meant just Mark Hoppus tweets in general, then they're usually pretty funny. I do like following him a lot. Bruce says, how's your wrist feeling? I've had shitty wrists for years, as long as I can remember at this point. But it's definitely feeling a lot better than it was. I'm pretty sure it was this one. This one? Yeah, it was this one. But it's a lot better than it was. But I mean, they still hurt every other day. Usually just not as bad. But yeah, thankfully that shit's over with. I don't know if I mentioned that was from Bruce. Next one's from Daniel. He says, can you sing? I like to think I'm okay at singing, at least pitch-wise, but, I mean, I'm really not that good. And no, I'm not going to sing, because I still kind of got, like, a throat thing going on anyway. Andy says, when you began playing, how did you reach out to others to start playing with them? I'm pretty sure, I mean, I was still in school at the time. It was actually like middle school, and it was a little while after I started playing. I was reading like a lot of guitar magazines and stuff like that, and like some of my teachers took notice of that, and they're like, oh, you should play with this guy, he plays drums, and it just kind of went from there. And then we did like a little talent show thing in front of like the whole grade, and so after that, pretty much my whole grade at least knew that I played guitar, and at that point I played pretty decently anyway, so it kind of just snowballed from there, I guess. I got a lot of questions from Aaron. This drive me fucking nuts. Fuck you. Let's see. Aaron says, what's the worst band name I've ever heard? I mean, the first one that always comes to mind is Anal Cunt. I remember hearing that name and just not knowing what the hell to think of it, but yeah, probably that. Aaron also says, "What's my favorite acoustic version of a song?" Um, that's a good question. Pull Your Strong does a couple good acoustic renditions of like some of their other songs, but I mean I don't think they're amazing. Um, and I'm assuming you meant like an acoustic version of a song that isn't normally acoustic. There's some really good ones on Alkaline Trio's Damnesia that I like. Um, I don't think I really have. Oh, you know what? I thought of one. The acoustic version of, I'm pretty sure it's "Sing for Absolution." It was a Muse B side on something. I don't remember like what, like single or whatever it was. Let me see. Um, oh God, I know I got it somewhere. Yeah, "Sing for Absolution" acoustic. If it and it says on here it was from Butterflies and Hurricanes, so it must have been from that single or something. That's really good. I like that a lot. Um, would I rather fall into a pit of snakes or a pit of spiders? As long as they weren't poisonous snakes, I'd go with snakes because I like snakes anyway. Do I prefer Dan O'Connor or Alan Day? Personally, I like Dan more. My least favorite Muse song at this point, probably Madness, because I hear Madness at least once a day at work from the fucking shitty radio, always playing. And I mean, it's not a bad song, but it's starting to wear on me. Um, the worst pain I've ever experienced. I've had back problems that have really, really sucked. That when I had wrist problems, I couldn't move my wrist like at all. Um, there was a time when I was maybe like 7 or 8 that I slipped with a knife, and it actually went into my eye, and I had to get surgery and stitches in my eye and everything, and that hurt pretty bad. Um, that's pretty much the ones that come to mind anyway. Um, Another question from Aaron. These have all been from Aaron, actually. Have you written any more songs with your band? And if you have, post it because everything you guys have made so far is awesome. We've been kind of taking a break at the moment. I mean, things were getting a little stale. I'm not ashamed to admit that. I know. Um, I don't really know like what's happening exactly with it. I know the bass player has been kind of in and out. He's been kind of flaking a little bit. Zach, if you're watching this, sorry, bro. But I mean, he's been playing with other bands, and he's been juggling school and work and all this stuff, and he never seems to really have time for our band. So I don't know what's really going to go on with that. Um, the drummer, I mean, he's sometimes he wants to practice, sometimes he doesn't. And then the other guy, Dave, he's got a weird work schedule, so I mean it's hard to kind of work around. So at the moment, like I said, we're taking just a little break. Hopefully, we're gonna be starting back up pretty soon, and just have like a fresh perspective anyway, and just get like back in the zone. Hopefully. One of these questions, okay. Favorite and least favorite song from each Wonder Years album, and favorite and least favorite Wonder Years album. Okay, this is an easy answer. I don't like the Wonder Years. Sorry. Um, Adam wants to know what my favorite Foo Fighters guitar riff is. There's some good ones. I'm in D standard right now, but I really like this one, even though I'm in D standard. What the fuck is the name of that one? I don't remember. I think it was from In Your Honor. I do like. That was Times Like These, I'm pretty sure. Monkey Wrench is really good too. I love that one. All right. Aaron says, actually, this is a different Aaron. When you did your little chaos music, did you mix it yourself? And okay, there's another question after that. Yeah, I wouldn't really call it mixing. If anything, I just kind of threw tracks together, panned them, and that was about it. I didn't really do too much. But yeah, it was all, everything was done by me. And whatever happened to your friend in that competition to meet Muse? She lost. And I don't really feel bad. GML says, active versus passive pickups. And do I think EMGs suit my style of playing? Every guitar I've had with an EMG pickup in it, I've sold. So that should say something. I mean, they usually just, I feel like they just lack something. I don't really know exactly what. Maybe just like, I mean, I just feel like it's really only good for metal, personally. I feel like that's, for the ones that I've played anyway. And I'd prefer passive, personally. I think I'm out of tune. Yep. What's your opinion on combo amps? From Ryan. I'm sorry about my coughing. Combo amps are fine. I mean, I have nothing against them. I think it's cool having a head and a cab, because if you want to mix like speakers and stuff like that, it's a little easier. And combo amps are fucking heavy. Really fucking heavy. Not that cabs aren't heavy, but they're really fucking heavy. Okay, let's see. Elliot says, what kind of camera do you use to record your covers with? It's a Canon PowerShot, I think. I don't know. It's nothing great. Did you ever think of using your iPhone camera? I don't have an iPhone. Some of my really quick videos are done with my, what the fuck kind of phone do I have? I have Galaxy S3 or whatever. I do a couple quick videos with that every now and then. Usually it's just like a little update, or maybe just me fucking around, because I could just upload it directly from my phone. But if it's like a full cover or anything like that, I just use my camera. Cole says, what do I think of Wes Borland? He's the guitarist of Limp Bizkit. I think anything regarding Limp Bizkit's kind of a joke. I don't listen to Limp Bizkit at all. The last I ever heard of a Limp Bizkit song, I heard, what the hell was it? Like that Break Stuff, or yeah, that Just One of Those Days song, whatever the fuck it was. And I was just laughing the entire time because it was so bad, including the guitar. So it's not for me personally. Merle says, if you played bass more frequently, what type of bass would you play? Definitely a J bass, jazz bass style. I like the thinner nut width, because having such a wide neck, it really does a lot of strain on my hand, especially since I have bad wrists. I'm actually planning on buying a bass soon, and it's actually a short scale bass, and it's got a 1.5 inch nut, which is a jazz bass size nut. A P bass has like a 1.6 something, so it's a little bit bigger, and that's the main reason why I didn't like the Mark Hoppus bass that much, because it really was that harder to play. But yeah, we'll see what happens on the bass front. Kyle says, I'm doing a commemorative guitar project for one of my friends who passed away recently. Sorry. It's a black Strat that I want to fix up so it's Tom DeLonge style. What pickup would I recommend for a chunkier sound? First one I really think of is obviously the Seymour Duncan Invader. It's pretty cheap. I mean, brand new. I think they're only like $80, and that's what he used in his Strats. It does suit a Strat pretty well. And I mean, if you wanted to get like pricier, I mean, you could definitely go with like a bare knuckle. I mean, I know I talk about those a lot, but they are pretty great pickups. Um, a lot of people compare the Invader to the bare knuckle War Pig, if you're interested. And I'm pretty sure it's the ceramic version because they have a ceramic and an Alnico 5 version. But there's a lot of Seymour Duncans that would do. I'm sure a JB would be fine too. A Gibson Dirty Fingers would do good. So anything like that. A couple questions from Danny. He says pop punk or classic rock. In general, probably classic rock. What is my next project guitar wise? I don't have anything really like for building a guitar or anything like that like in mind at the moment. I just sold the Blue Strat and I made some decent money off of that, so I actually have a few purchases in mind, but none of it has to really do with building a guitar. Like I said, I do plan on buying like a cheap bass that's easier to play, but that's mostly going to be for recording stuff. I want to get back into recording a lot. Maybe start up Little Chaos again, even though whether or not the band that I'm in picks back up or not, I'm still going to try and do this. So I plan on buying like a nice microphone so I can mic up my amp. And if that goes good, then I'll keep doing that with like covers and stuff too, with like an actual mic amp. And I'll likely be buying a better interface because the one that I have is pretty shitty. So those are a couple things I've been thinking about buying. I'm also maybe thinking about a new overdrive pedal instead of the Tube Screamer. I've been really looking at the Misha Mansour, what the hell is it? The Protone Bulb, whatever pedal. It's a little expensive, which is the main thing I'm kind of about, but I haven't really decided if I'm going to do that yet. But that's pretty much what I've been thinking about mainly. I don't really have any like guitar projects that I've been thinking about too much. All right, next question. Good Charlotte or Sum 41? I've liked them both in the past. I mean, I still listen to Sum 41 every now and then, so I'll go with Sum 41. Did I find it hard to learn guitar at first? I was pretty young, and I didn't have a lot to do after school and stuff like that, so I mean, I just like learned how to read tabs, and I just kind of went with it, and I just played a lot over and over again. So I mean, everything's hard, but I mean, when you first start, so it's just one of those things. I mean, the more you do, the more you get used to it. So I mean, it wasn't. I never felt like it was super difficult or anything like that. Question from Jordan: where were you on 9/11, and what did you do considering you live on the East Coast? I was at school. I think I was in like 5th grade, and I didn't really know what was going on, so it didn't really affect me much. Arturo says, Family Guy or American Dad? Well, I used to watch Family Guy. The earlier episodes are pretty funny, and I never liked American Dad. I always thought it was just kind of stupid, so I guess I'll just go with Family Guy, even though I don't watch it anymore. Owen says, what's my opinion on Fender Mustang amps? I feel like I've answered this question before, so I don't know. I've never used one. I don't plan on using one, but I'm sure there's plenty of reviews and stuff online that you can check out. Aside from Stratocasters, do you love any other type of guitar? This is from Ricardo. Yeah, I guess it's... I figured it'd be kind of obvious, but yeah, I love Les Pauls a lot too. Couple more questions from Jordan. Do I like Trailer Park Boys? I never watched it. I mean, the only thing I know about them is they... I don't know if it was all of them, but at least some of them played in like a music video with Rush, which was alright. It was closer to the heart, so that was alright. Do I like air hockey? That's alright, I guess. Alright, this is an in-depth question, I guess. Who do I think are the best guitarist, bassist, drummer, and singer from pop punk. Um, fuck if I know. Guitar players. I mean, the guitar players for 4 Year Strong are really good. I mean, they, especially live, they are just incredibly like tight. I mean, it's crazy like how much energy they have when they're playing, but they also just are so rhythmically like perfect the whole damn time. And they're doing like some complicated riffs and stuff too while they're playing, so it's always pretty impressive. Um, Best pop punk singer. Um, I don't know. Um, I'll come back to that one. Drummer, got to give it to Travis easily. Bass player. I know it's not technically pop punk, but the bass player for Less Than Jake, Roger, I'm pretty sure his name is pretty damn good. Um, I wouldn't consider Paramore pop punk anymore. I mean, maybe like their earlier stuff, but Jeremy's a pretty decent bass player. I don't really think like Mark Hoppus is an amazing bass player. So, but I also don't listen to that many pop punk bands either. But singer, I don't know. I really don't. I can't pick one. I can't pick one. Dylan says, would you invest in a Tom DeLonge's signature Gibson? I know I've answered this one before, but no, I wouldn't. I don't like semi-hollows nearly enough to spend a few $1,000s on one. The only reason I have my ES335 is because it was a family heirloom, and that's pretty much it. They're huge. They sound a little different than I'm really used to, and they're just not very comfortable for me. My favorite style of guitars, probably a Strat. And that's from Tyler. Brandon Christian says, what music do you listen to besides pop punk? I like a lot of like classic rock. I listen to like The Cars and other bands like that. I do listen to some metal like I Am Abomination and Dragonland and Hammerfall, Gravedigger, stuff like that. So that's the majority of it anyway. And in my opinion, the best pop punk riff oriented band, I gotta give it to 4 Year Strong. I think they have some really cool riffs, personally. Another one from Brandon. Do you think taking all the guitar strings off at the same time hurts your guitar? No, I don't. Joel, another question that I kind of already answered. What are some of the next guitar builds you want to take on? Like I said, I don't have any plans at the moment. I think it'd be awesome to make like a silver Strat or a white Strat, but like I said, I don't really have any plans to. That doesn't mean it won't happen eventually, but at the moment, I don't really think I'm gonna do anything at the moment. Matthew says, would you ever consider doing YouTube full time and making a living off your videos? I don't get nearly enough views to do that. It's just as simple as that. I just don't. If I could, then yeah, I would, but I can't. Do I prefer Matt or Dan's voice from Alkaline Trio? Definitely Matt, but Dan is pretty cool. Jay says, what made you choose the ceramic magnet over the Alnico in the nail bomb of your Les Paul? Well, I already tried the Alnico 5 version in a Strat about a year ago, and it did sound good, but I felt like the added output and it's not a lot of output, and it added just like a little bit of tightness to like heavier riffing and stuff like that with the ceramic version, so I wanted to go with that one. So yeah, that's why I went with the ceramic one. Nicholas says, is it true that God came down to earth just to buy a copy of We Don't Need to Whisper? God's not real. Sorry. Captain Buzzkill over here. Hardick or Hardik or something. After how many years of playing and learning guitars did you start making covers? A couple years, maybe like 3 years, 2-3 years, something like that. And like started worrying about recording equipment. I didn't really care too much about my gear early on, as long as I had something that sounded pretty good for like maybe like the first like 6 or 7 years or more that I was playing. I didn't really care too much about my gear as long as it sounded all right to me. So that was about it. Aram, I never know how to pronounce that. What are your thoughts on guitar spins? I think they're cool. I mean, I wouldn't do one personally ever, but I like to see them. They're pretty cool. Cameron says, out of Neck Deep, the story so far, in State Champs, how would you put them in order from best to worst? I'd probably give Neck Deep and State Champs a tie, and then just put story so far at the worst. I just don't like them. Matthew says, do you like Stone Roses? Never listened to them. This is a good question. I remember reading this when you posted it. This is from Jake. Have you ever had a problem with the finish on a Warmouth body? I want to get a Jazzmaster from them, but I've heard that the finishes come off easily. That's something that I've run into also. When I first got my Strat, I'm not going to pull it out, but I had to put these string ferrules in, and the paint kind of like drips into it, so it's a really fucking tight fit, and it's probably best to sand it out a little bit. But I remember putting those in, and the paint fucking coming off really easily, so I was getting really nervous about it. I also have like a little nick like right around here on the orange Strat that fucking came out of nowhere. I have no idea where that came from. And when you look at like this guitar, I mean, I know it's hard for you guys to see, but I mean, granted there's like some scratches and whatever, but other than that, it looks fucking perfect. And for some reason on that Warmouth body, I can tell it's not perfect because you could kind of see like little lines every now and then that it looks like the finish just wasn't that well done. So I mean, I do kind of have to agree with them not being great finishes, and it's unfortunate because it was pretty expensive, but I mean, I'm not really going to argue about it. So I mean, personally, I mean, you might not want to do it. I mean, I can understand why, but I mean, at the same time, if you're just getting like a color that's not a big deal, then I'd say go for it. But I mean, you could always order it without a finish on it and then have someone like a luthier or like some other guitar builder do it. So I mean, that's always an option. Brandon says, Blink or Ava? Blink. Tyler says, do you still hate Oliver? And I know what he's talking about. This is from when I was on the Blink-182 message boards. I think it was Blink-182 online message board, and yeah, Oliver was kind of a douche, but he wasn't as big of a douche as Gent was. Gent was a huge douche, and Arya was kind of a snob. I'll throw that out there. He was a snob. There was some others, but I honestly, it's been so long since I've even been on there that I don't even fucking remember them. But yeah, there was a lot of assholes on that fucking board, which is why I left. Lucas says, what do you think of Queens of the Stone Age latest album? I don't know if it's you that keeps asking me that, but I haven't listened to it. I don't know. Maybe I'll listen to it eventually, but I haven't heard it. And what do I expect on the new Foo Fighters album? I expect it to be good, because the last one was really good, so this one better be just as good or I'll be bummed. Am I going to get Watch Dogs? Probably not. I don't play a lot of video games these days. God, am I out of tune again? These guitars do not like lower tunings, even with fucking strap locks on them. Or locking tuners, that's what I meant. Sean says, am I a fan of any card games like Magic the Gathering? No, my friends love that shit, but I'm not really into it. Like actual like cards stuff like poker and blackjack, I mean that's pretty cool. I mean I've played my fair share of poker. I've played other card games like Munchkin and Bang and other stuff like that that are pretty fun, but Magic the Gathering is just so fucking complicated. And what's the most amount of people that I've ever played live in front of? I don't know, maybe like 100, 200, something like that. It was at like a school thing years ago. Daniel says, do I like sandwiches? Yes. Another, how's my wrist doing? It's fine. Do you know if it's possible to install a humbucker into the bridge position of a Telecaster? I know Bruce, I can see right here, already replied to you, but he's right. If you look at like a guitar like this, obviously, yeah, you have to change the bridge so you can get it so it's just like cuts out just like right here for the bridge. But the cavity for where the pickup sits is almost definitely going to have to be routed to be able to fit it. And that's pretty much the main thing. You can get really hot pickups like I have in this one. But if you want like a true humbucker, I mean, I know you can get like humbucker sized single coils. I think Seymour Duncan does them, maybe some other brands like DiMarzio or something. But I mean, that's always an option too. Let's see. Oh, I'm almost at the end. What are my thoughts on Me First and the Gimme Gimmes? This is from Miguel. I don't know him too well. I've heard the name 100 times. I'm pretty sure that's with Fat Mike. I think. Yeah, because Fat Mike does that one too, with along with NoFX or whatever. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I don't really listen to him. When do you get a nice acoustic, like a Taylor, Martin, Walden, if you're on a tighter budget? Well, biggest thing I can say is definitely go used. There's a lot of used guitars out there that are in really nice condition that will save you a lot of money. This thing, minus the pickup that I put in and a couple other little things, this cost me like $300. And the thing was in like almost perfect condition. Granted, it's like almost 20 years old, but I saved the crap load and I got a sweet guitar. So, I mean, don't just buy a super expensive guitar either just because it's super expensive. You got to find one that's nice for you. I mean, there's plenty of times where I've read stories about people playing like a whole line of Taylor guitars and liking like maybe like the second model up from the bottom over like the 8th model that's like $2,000 more. So, I mean, you know, it's something to think about anyway. Mike says that I should post a riff that I've been working on. I started working on one a little while ago, maybe like a month ago. But I'll fuck around with it. That's pretty much all I got. I know it was kind of hard to hear some of the parts, but it was like, and so I don't know if I'll go anywhere with that song or not, but we'll see. Let's see. Two more questions. Sam says, have I ever played an Epiphany EJ200 acoustic guitar? It sounds amazing, in my opinion. I think Noel, whatever the fuck his name is, from Oasis played one in Wonderwall. Wonderwall's so overrated, man. I mean, it's an alright song, but I've never played the guitar. I don't play a lot of acoustic guitars. If it's rated well online with like reviews and stuff, then yeah, why not? I think that it's a decent purchase. I mean, I definitely look at reviews a lot. Oasis is alright, but I don't go out of my way to listen to them. Timmy says, this is the final question. Do you feel lucky living in an area where it doesn't get scorching? It's scorching hot in Oregon, and there are insanely cold winters and overly hot summers. I don't think you realize that Massachusetts is exactly the same way. The only thing, I mean, I don't know where I was going with that, but I can easily see 100, 105. I mean, maybe not 105, but I've seen like 105 Fahrenheit degree days. And I've very easily seen it in the negatives in the winter. So, I mean, trust me, I understand, and it sucks. And the last part of your question, do you like older Taking Back Sunday? The only Taking Back Sunday I don't listen to is the very first album. I know it's fucking blasphemy. I know a lot of people love that album, but I just never really liked it. But I really do like where Fred came in with Where You Want to Be. I like that album a lot. And everything from there is good. So that's pretty much for me what I like about Taking Back Sunday. So thanks for watching. Hopefully I didn't miss any questions. Hopefully I didn't get any questions since I started taping this. So yeah, I don't think I did. So thanks for watching, and next month I'll be doing another one of these, and hopefully you enjoyed.